Hi, you're at Hanksters at Daytona Beach, Florida, and this is the engine compartment of a really special 1973 Dodge Charger. This thing is really over the top. I'm going to take a few minutes here to just point out some things. We can't spend too much time, but there's a lot to show here. It has an Edelbrock Tarantula style manifold on it, a double pump Holley carburetor, dual feed on it, set of Mopar chrome valve pan covers. This is a Hypo 440 engine. It is not just a boat anchor standard 440 out of an old Chrysler or something. This thing is a Hypo steel crank 440 HP engine. It has an aluminum water pump on it. It has a billet drive system on the front of it. There's billet wheels on everything. The alternator, the fan, dampener, and it even has a secondary serpentine belt on the billet aluminum wheel for the power steering pump. It has a MSD billet aluminum distributor in it, also an MSD box for the ignition system on it. It does have, like I mentioned, power steering. It has power disc brakes on it, dual stage master cylinder. You can see everything on this car has been addressed. There's not one thing on the vehicle that has not been done to the nth degree. This is unusual with the old red or reddish-orange heater hose wires, but they are hooked up and functional to the passenger compartment. Car's never been in any trauma whatsoever. The numbers are still on the core support, which coincide with the fender tag, two fender tags actually, and the VIN plate, which Devin will show you a picture of it also in the dash area of the car. Very nice car. It has a auxiliary transmission oil cooler, billet aluminum also, high flow, high capacity. It's at least a 4-pass aluminum radiator on it, overflow tank in the front, billet mounting for everything, all the auxiliary components in the front of the engine. Has a set of long tube, I'm going to call them 1 3/4 ceramic coated style headers, high temp coated headers. A phenomenal engine compartment in this car. It just is nice and fresh and clean as you could ever hope to find one. It's got a newer battery in it. There's not one negative I can tell you in this engine compartment. There's no leaks at all evident at the top of this engine at this point in time. We'll check it out underneath once we get under it, but the engine compartment is show quality on this vehicle. In fact, the entire vehicle is that type of composure. It's just a phenomenal vehicle. We're going to go around the rest of it and see if we can show you there. Okay, we're going to do an overview of this 73 Charger RT style car. 440 Magnum on the hood designation because that's what it is, and a juiced up one on top of that. You can look at the gaps on the hood to the fender. Of course, there is no collar area. It transitions clean up to the windshield, but look at the fitment on this car. The paint on this car is not driver quality. This approaches show quality paint. It is absolutely a gorgeous metallic copper color, a lot of metallic in it. It has the correct style Mopar hood pins with the caps and the rubbers underneath. Just everything on this car, the fitment is phenomenal. You can see the fender and hood on this side the same way, grill area. There's one little, I found something, a little tiny tooth missing out of the grill here. That's shipped out. Apparently through the years a rock came up and whacked it and That's what we have now to contend with. The parking lights in the front are crystal clear. The valance underneath the bumper is just as fresh and nice. There's no marks on it, no dings on it whatsoever. Chrome on the front bumper is just the way it would have been when it was new in 1973. Just a nice car. You can't really fault this car for anything, fitment-wise or finish-wise. Beautiful car. Going down the side of it, and again, you have to see the matte black striping on the hood, which also coincide with the RT style matte black striping going down the side of it. Side marker lights, nice and clean. Has a set of rally wheels on it, which is everybody's choice in the Mopar world today, is to have a set of rally wheels on a car with white letter tires. Got a nice set in the front, and there's a huge set in the back to complement the ones in the front. They're both GT qualifiers. The back ones are just gigantic, and these cars have a nice swelled out fender well area in the back, and that really complements the fact that now it's full of tire. It really gives it a good look to it. Top of the dashboard, you can see it's just as fresh as it was when it was new. It's painted the same color as the car. The dash pad itself is a light tan color. We'll show you interior here in a minute, which is somewhat of a custom interior, but look at the fitment on this thing. Look, it just absolutely cannot be any better. Set of sport mirrors, chrome, both sides. Trim around the front of the windshield. Everything fits just the way it should. Tinted glass all around the car. Definitely the windshield. I'm going to call the sides tinted also. But look, usually the drip molding in that usually has some marks in it. There are none. Fitment of the windows to the rear quarter glass. Look at that. It can't get any better. And again, look at the gap on this door and the fitment of the door. No patina. These things usually have some chrome patina. There is none. Interior in this car has kind of a custom flair to it. It's a copper and a lightish tan color two-tone, and just a phenomenal looking combination. Complement the carpets complement the interior the same way. Inside the doors, which I'm sure Devin's going to show you some real good high-resolution photos of, you look inside the door jambs, just as clean and fresh as you'd ever hope to ever find a car. All new rubbers, all new seals on the car everywhere, and look at this. The entire car is this way. Door closes just as it should. You go down the sides of this thing, back window, fitment, chrome, trim around the window, just as nice as you could hope to find. Rear hatch shell still has the perforations for the speakers in it. Down the side of this car it's a big car, it's a long car, and everything fits as it should. There's not anything on this vehicle fitment-wise or finish-wise that indicates that there's any issues at all. Going around the back of the car, you can see the trim across the back of the window and across the top of the window. And again, look at the fitment of this deck lid. Both sides of it, the linearity of it, the fitment to the quarter panels, everything just as it should be. Okay, I'll show you inside the trunk area. Pretty sweet. Totally carpeted with the same style carpeting that's in the rest of the vehicle. The original style spare is in it with another rally wheel, jack, and the base, both with the vehicle. And how much paperwork and pictures do you need for the car? Total restoration on this vehicle. Just everything that was done to this vehicle, totally taken apart and put back together again as a brand new car. Everything painted separately. You can see the doors, everything has been done separately on this car. Everything. There's a total restoration history of the vehicle. Fantastic, fantastic car. Back bumper, the same as it was on the front. Chrome looks like it's a foot deep on this thing. Again, the back has a complemented flat black stripe on it that goes along with the sides and the hood area, matte black. The trumpet type exhausts out the back or have the rolled tips on them just the way they would be from the factory. Really nice set of stainless tips on it. The rear valance has no marks whatsoever. You can see the rear tail lights. That's where all the tail lights are, right in the rear. Are just as nice as you'd want to find. The backup lights, everything is nice and fresh and clean and clear looking. There's no milkiness whatsoever to any of the plastic on the sides of the tail light assemblies. Down the Passenger side, same as it was on the driver's side. Look at this thing. It's absolutely gorgeous, absolutely stunning. Again, there's no marks on the top. I still haven't come across an imperfection in the paint anywhere. Not in the finish in itself, or a mark or a chip or a ding, absolutely nothing. Again, look at the fitment of the window. Look at that. The grip rail, same way. Look at the gap. Totally amazing. The interior in this thing is really striking, and it has a set of floor mats, by the way, to match too. Auxiliary gauges in it. We'll show you all this once we get inside the car. But it even has the lumber on the dash, which has a nice resolution to it. Just a beautifully done car. Very, very expensive restoration on this car. The seals are all new also. Usually there's some deterioration on theirs. There's none on these. They're absolutely brand new. It's just the whole car's this way. Gap in the front the same way. Correct style Mopar antenna. Again, look at the fit. It's just an absolute phenomenal 1973 Dodge Charger with a 440 Magnum in it. This is the next generation of the B-body cars, starting in 1971, and they go up to about 74, and then after that no one cared. But this thing does have a built 440 steel crank, hypo motor, and it is an HP engine in it. It's got power steering, power brakes, a phenomenal paint job. It's got the fit and finish of a show car, and it's so nominally priced you're going to flip out and see what you can buy this vehicle for with all the amenities that it has. It's available here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, and I bet you can't find another one just like it. Okay, this is the underside of our 73 Dodge Charger 440 built engine, supposedly 500 horsepower, and I believe it. Very, very nice car. Disc brakes in the front. The starter is a gear reduction starter. You can see there's no leaks whatsoever evident on the engine itself, bell housing, or the 727 tranny on it, including the speedometer drive, which is usually a leaking part. The sway bar system in the front would be an RT style sway bar system for Dodge. The primary tubes coming down, I think I'm going to call them 1 3/4. They go into 3-inch collectors, into 2.5-inch primary pipes going back. The skirting and the fenders themselves, just as fresh and nice as you could hope to find. The subframes in the front and the floorboards all appear to be original. I don't see any indication that they've been replaced through the years. A couple of small jack marks on them, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, this thing is a very nice, straight car. Parking brakes still hooked up and functional. You can notice the pictures, and Devin will give you some high-resolution ones. The undercoating, the splatter, it's not actually undercoating, sound deadener that Chrysler installed from the factory, still evident on the floors of this car. Geez, let me see. No leaks on the tail shaft area. Drive shaft appears to have newer U-joints on it. Fully boxed spring torque boxes in the front. They're fully boxed. The springs in the back have a nice curvature to them, a really nice arch to them. The gas tank has a couple of small superficial little dings in it. One pretty good one here, looks like somebody punched it. 8 3/4-inch Mopar rear end in it, under chassis mufflers, two turbo style mufflers. The floor pans up over the rear differential, just as nice and clean as they were in 1973. Drum brakes in the back. Of course, we do have discs in the front. The shocks in the front have been replaced. They're newer shocks, the same in the back here. They've also been replaced. Drop downs in the quarters, just as fresh as they were in 73. Really a nice looking car. Floor pans above the gas tank, from what I can see, are totally undisrupted. The subframe in the back, curvature up over the rear differential and to the torque boxes, all of it is totally dent free. It's as nice as it was when the car was brand new. This is a really nice car underneath. Very, very nice car underneath. Again, no leaks in the rear differential. You can see if you do an overview of this, and Devin, like I say, will have a whole bunch of high resolution photos for you to look at also. You can see all the original sound deadener. Everything that was here from Mopar in 1973 appears to be still intact today. Nice originality underneath this car. A nice originality. One thing we forgot to mention whenever we were doing the presentation inside. It's not our opinion, it's other opinions too, that this car is a show quality car, because you're going to get with it in the trunk, you're going to get 20, not 1, 2, 5, 20 trophies from being a show winner through its life. Fantastic piece of equipment. Take a look at it. Let's see here. Remote mirror, and it functions as it should. A horn, which doesn't work up here, but works right there. So we do have a horn on it. Wipers, let's see if our wipers function. And no, they don't want to function. So we got to fix our wipers. Kind of important that we have wipers on the car, in case you might want to drive it in the rain sometime. Turn signal left is not functioning. Turn signal right is not functioning, so we got to fix that too. Oil pressure gauge is working, but it's also working down here. We have a set of auxiliary gauges in the car, and you can see it's holding good oil pressure. It's charged at 13.8 volts where it should be. Temperature just starting to rise. We just fired this thing up. Tachometer functioning. Motor sounds really, really strong. Radio, I don't know, but we'll try it. It's original Mopar radio. Nope, radio doesn't work. We don't care about radios and clocks. If they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. Really nice car inside. Obviously, we have a few little issues to attend to here, but the gauges are functioning as they should. We've got a little over a quarter of a tank of fuel in it. And like I said, the auxiliary gauges are functioning, and a couple of the ones up here in the dash too. So we're good. We're gonna go for a ride, see how this guy performs. Really nice running car. Down the road, let me set it here. Down the road, straight as an arrow. No hands on the wheel. Still going straight. Okay, there's a guy behind me. We're going to try brakes. See what happens here. Brakes, no hands. Straight as an arrow. Stopped. Oop. Nobody's getting upset with me behind me. Car shifts. It has nice, firm, positive shifts to it. We'll turn around down here and give it a little squirt and see what it runs like. But real nice, tight steering on the car, and has a high-resolution steering box in it. Certainly better than what Mopar had done in 1973. The car has no rattle, shake, shimmy, squeaks, nothing. It's apart, you can take it, drive anywhere you want to go with it. Great sound too. It's not objectionably loud, but with those turbo mufflers on there, it has a nice, deep, throaty sound to it. It's a nice car, really nice car. Turn around down here. We got to fix these turn signals. Whoever buys it's probably going to want turn signals and wipers on it, so I suppose we'll be able to fix that for them. Give it a little shot there. That's cranking. We probably ought to fix the speedometer too, because it's not working. But so we have wipers, turn signals, and a speedometer to address. Other than that, this car is absolutely spot on. Mechanically, it's as straight, tight, as nice as you can possibly get. The car goes down the road straight. It's just a nice running, very solid car. Nice positive shifts, got a great sound to it. The motor pulls like a freight train. It's a good running 440 in this car. But yet it's not geared deep, so you can take this car on the road, drive it anywhere you want to go in it. Use it around town or put it on 95 and head toward Baltimore if you want. Straight car, nice car, goes down the road the way it's supposed to. It's just a great piece of Mopar engineering for you. Take a look at it. It's at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida.